Hello, all you beautiful souls. Thank you for joining me again. This is an incredibly important episode. For those that know me and who have been following me for a while, you've probably seen me testifying in Ottawa at the Standing Committee at Veterans Affairs. The reason that I was there testifying, and I've done it twice now, is because of veterans that were offered MAID, medical assistance in dying. They were offered this not because they asked for it, but they were offered it in lieu of help. The first one that actually used her name was Christine Gauthier. Pardon me. And when Christine Gauthier came forward, they called her a liar. She's a former Paralympian, competed at on behalf of the military at the Invictus Games, and she just wanted a wheelchair lift. Now, she's finally got one, not because of Veterans Affairs Canada, but because of private groups that have gone together and have built it for her. I think it's called Renos for Heroes. It was the organization that built it. But that's how it came about for her. She's like, hey, I really need a wheelchair ramp. They're like, wheelchair ramp? I don't know. Sounds expensive. Can we kill you instead? Now, this happened to her not once, but twice. Once by a male Veterans Affairs officer, the second time by a female Veterans Affairs officer. Now, whether they're case managers or whatnot, I'm not sure. Um, but it happened twice. The original veteran that this happened with came forward, came to me, gave me the recordings of the apology calls that I heard from Veterans Affairs, but never came forward. He ended up settling in court for a massive amount of money because this is real. This is not a conspiracy theory. The government paid the veteran number one, I'll call him. They paid him money and made him sign an NDA to get that money. So he can't ever come forward now. He can't ever do anything about this. He can't say anything about it, but others can. And I have on the show today David Baltzer. And David Baltzer is the second person, other than Christine Gauthier, to actually be able to come forward on the show, use his name, and tell the story. David, thanks, man. Thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be able to speak about this publicly, and I'm not shy about sharing my name at all.
Well, brother, let's just jump right into it. Tell me about the phone call.
All right. Well, before we talk about the initial phone call, this is kind of wild. I would like to talk about a phone call that happened probably prior 6 months to that original phone call when I was offered MAID. It was at a time when I was living in Toronto. I was actually a recipient on some benefits for VA for re-education and all that kind of stuff to reintegrate, all the. So to get into it, I remember I was on the phone and I was having relationship problems trying to access some counseling for couples counseling and everything. Nothing ended up happening. It ended up happening too late. Um, and I remember on the phone with VA, and I'm the type of person, I'm not shy. Sometimes I can get ahead of myself and I can let my temper go, and I'm not shy with these guys on the phone. Like I'll let her go. I'll tell how my mind really feels. So I remember at the point, I remember thinking, I was just so frustrated. I was thinking the amount of money that we get, and I was thinking, you're telling us we can't go out and make so much money, and we're stuck in this demographic. It's almost to the point where you don't want us to do anything. We're barely making it, living paycheck to paycheck. This is how I felt at the time, and just got us locked in. And then at the time, I'm like, how old am I? I'm like, I feel like you just want to put us in a hole and die. And that's exactly what I said to my case manager at the time. And it kind of startled her. She says, no, David, that's not what we wish for you. And I was having problems at the time. I said, okay, well, how about if I get off this one program and I get onto another program? Because I want to work on myself and get my stuff together here, because there is a lot of trauma that comes up with everything. And she basically told me, well, David, if you don't work on this program that you're on now, that means you're kicked off the program. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? That's that? Yeah, you're kicked off the program. So I actually went to a program. It's called PTS. It's a cohort. And what they do is they take a lot of first responders and also military, and we go and we'll go and we'll do all these, we'll retreat, and we'll have these sessions of different therapy methods, meditating, all kinds of stuff. And it was funded by VA. Now, I'm driving to this place. It was up northern Ontario, and I'm getting a call from my case manager, and she's asking me, "Where are you going? What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm driving this PTS program. It's covered by VA." She says, "How are you going to go to a program that you don't know is what treatment they're offering you, and how are you going to help yourself if you don't even know what kind of treatment?" "David, we need you to pull over the side of the road. I can't hear you right now." I honestly felt like she was treating me as if I was unstable and they were going to call the police on me to get me. I'm not joking. I'm not joking. It was that. And it was to the point where I hung up. I went to the treatment program, and that program was the best program I had ever went to, and been able to share and go through all these exercises and treatment and therapy.
What's the name of the program? Like, who runs it?
It was post-trauma support, and my memory right now,
that's okay.
It's not working quite as it should.
It's all right, brother.
But there was a lady. She's a wonderful woman. She's a doctor. She does wonderful things for the veteran community and first responders. Manuela is at the top of my head. She's beautiful, beautiful soul. She really cares. She likes to contribute and wants to actively do something for guys like us. So I went there, and after the end of it, we had to make a pact. We're part of a fraternity now, right? And the pact is, because there's a lot of these, the trauma, suicide. It's a real problem. It's something
it's a big problem.
Yeah, and it's something that I have come close to many times, and thankfully, no, it has not come to that. And there's a lot of people that have, and it's a very sad thing. There's a lot of people that's being left behind. I say it's a very selfish thing, but everybody has
no, it's not
problems,
selfish.
right?
It's desperation. Right? It's not the same thing.
So it's very sad. Obviously leads to even more trauma for secondary people all around. Like, what could I have done? I didn't know. I wish I could have said something. So we made a pact that we'd never do that. And I don't know what it is. There was something about the exercises and the meditation, and I keep that very close to my heart. That is something I will not do. I will never take my life. I can promise you that. It won't. And something clicked in my head. I don't know what happened, but it happened, and I'm good with it. So we're going to fast forward 6 months later. Right. And because a few times I was on the phone with her, and I said, I explained to her that program was the best thing I ever did when I was on the phone with this caseworker out of Scarborough, Toronto at the time. And I remember she went to come back with some snarky remark, and it triggered this anger in me, and I just hung up. And you know what? That was around probably August, and I didn't talk to her at all. And then I get a letter in the mail.
One of our big triggers is going to be disrespect, because that's something that we would have experienced probably during the whatever traumatic experiences in the military.
Yeah, absolutely. So we fast forward 6 months later. I'm living on 25 Capriel Port off of York Boulevard in Toronto, downtown Toronto, with a roommate, also someone I served with. We were roommates together, and I get a letter in the mail, and what is it? It's before Christmas, and this is when COVID started to kick off too. This is funny because, over the night I started to really think about all of this and start having to remember a lot of this. So I'm glad that I did. So I get a letter in the mail. It's from Veteran Affairs, and what does it say? It says my re-education program, my ELB that I was on at the time, is being terminated. This is just in time. We're talking Christmas, and as going through your stuff, and that's great news, isn't it? And And
Yeah,
then,
so for people that don't know, ELB is earnings loss benefit, and you get it because you've lost earnings because you have an inability to work. I was on it for a few years, and when that's your lifeline, I mean, you need that, and to cut it out with to cut it off without a proper heads up, I mean, that's just brutal.
oh yeah, it tr- triggered me. It's like that.
Oh yeah,
I go into tightened chest, breathing, can't think. Okay, composure. Got a call. It's like before. I think it was the 23rd of December, and this was before COVID in Ontario. I believe, what year is it? Was it 2021? And then that's when all the restrictions started to
that's the
happen.
Merry Christmas from VAC. Merry Christmas,
That's
David.
yeah. So I call in, uh, and it's funny you mentioned it was a male person on the phone, and I start talking. What is going on here? And I'm talking about the problems I was having as case manager. It didn't seem like she was for me at all, and she really wasn't. I remember I qualified for VIP, but then because I moved to Toronto at the time and I didn't have a house but I had a condo, oh, you don't need that anymore. So, uh, anyways, I was talking to the mill, explaining on those situations. I said, "Listen, I have a lot of problems here, and I'm actually wholeheartedly opening up here, thinking that I'm going to get a positive response, and thinking, hey, like, what is it? What are the programs that I can do? What are the things I can do to actually really actively work on myself?" And he's like, "All right, David, I'm gonna ask you something." And he's like, "But just take a moment, calm down." He's like, "Don't freak out. Just be open minded and really think about this." He's like, "You have a lot of problems. You've tried everything. You've done all this stuff." He's like, "Have you ever thought about medical assisted suicide?"
Oh my God.
As soon as he said that, I lost it. I said, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?" I'm like, I was right. I was right. And
Now, I'm just going to jump in here for the audience, all right? Because there's all kinds of people that are guaranteed, like they're like, there's no way this was system wide. Well, here is proof right now that, so this was a dude that you were speaking to, yes?
yes, yes,
Okay. So veteran number one, it was a settlement in court, that was a female. So this means there's two different agents I know that there's about a dozen different agents that I've been able to uncover, but just with this alone is proof of two different agents. Okay. Just this alone. And I have the argument that can explain how there's about a dozen different agents. But the one where it was settled in court, that was a female agent out of Vancouver. BC people get a BC agent. You were in Ontario, so you get an Ontario agent. That's how that works. And they don't cross provinces. Okay. One was a female, the other one was a male. If there's two, there's 200. Because there's no possibility that two people, two different service agents, were both maniacs that would offer MAID to a veteran as a solution. There's no way, which is why it had to be system wide. Anyway,
abs-
I had to throw that in there. So he says this to you. That with a sales pitch, no less.
yeah,
That hey, you've tried everything else. Why don't you just kill yourself?
yeah. The very thing we've been working so hard to get around
Jesus
after
Christ.
want to enjoy your life after serving your country. And I was fortunate enough. I'm proud. I was with the Second Battalion, PPC Alive, Bravo Company 6 Platoon, both times on 06 and 08 on Roto 1. And
David.
right on. Once a
Yeah,
Patricia, always a Patricia. I love it.
yeah,
That's the
brother.
best thing I ever did in my life, with the brotherhood and the brothers, that the best friends, thicker than blood I've ever met in my life. That's the best thing.
Damn right.
So, yeah.
Now, how did this affect you when this was offered to you in such a brutal way?
It kind of reaffirmed, it kind of makes you think, is my life worth living? Am I is it worth it? Uh, there's a lot of stuff that goes through your mind, and there went in my mind at the time. I kind of just said, you know what, screw everything, man. I'm gonna go hard and just do whatever I can to get ahead in life at that time, man. Honestly, and that's what I did, and I'll leave it at that.
As far as what you felt the government thought about you or veterans in general, was there
We start getting
like how
into it.
did you, I know,
Start getting into it,
yeah,
and I
man.
start thinking about, well, like we was talking about conspiracy theories. Now, here's an interesting fact I want to state about conspiracy theories. Conspiracy theories are a theory of something that is actually a fact, and it does come true in the future. But here's the thing: um, you start getting into conspiracy theory, and they're like, okay, what is the government just wants to save money because of the money that we went over to secure for them, and then after we're done and they use us, it's okay. Let's save money. Like I remember
David,
hearing,
when this first came to me and I was first made, I didn't even know what MAID was. And even though I had the tapes that I listened to personally, two different phone calls from VAC, I couldn't believe it. Like I couldn't believe that this actually happened, that MAID was offered, the government was offering to kill veterans. And one of the times I was on Rebel News, David Menzies asked me, do you think this is a budget cut? You know, and they're just doing it to save money. And I thought, David, that's a bit too far for me. But now, yeah, that's exactly what it is, man. We're expensive. If we're on the different, I live off of benefits. Okay, I live on veteran benefits, which is why it's a little bit scary for me to do these shows. It was a bit scary for me to testify in Ottawa because I know these people and they can be vindictive. And what if I get cut off? I am fucked, and they know that. So, but I'm speaking out anyway. And
well, you won't be cut off. I won't be cut off. I can
yeah,
promise you that.
probably not. But it's a concern, right?
Yeah,
It's a
absolutely.
concern. But man, the point of going down that, this is just so overwhelming that I'm actually losing my words, which does not happen to me on this show, right? Uh, it's just so much because it's bringing back to me all the veterans that I've spoken to or that I know of, first or second hand, that this has happened to, right? So back to, it was a Toronto agent or Ontario, because it's provincially, because you were in, so you're speaking to somebody who had that portfolio and was probably physically in Ontario, right?
Yeah.
Veteran number one was BC. Christine Gauthier was in Quebec. Okay, so we got three provinces already. I know that this happened in Alberta because I have had communication with that person, okay? A member of the RCMP who also goes through VAC. So we've got, oh, and there was one in Manitoba that that's the one who went by the pseudonym Bruce, and I did an episode with them. So we've got BC, Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario, Quebec. That's five provinces that I know of where, so for the listeners, you have to make a decision right now. Are all five of these cases lying? Well, one of them settled in court, so that can't be a lie. Settled in court. Or maybe this is true. And maybe five different provinces were offering veterans to kill them instead of helping them. Are you going to call Christine Gauthier a liar again, like the minister did? The Minister of Veterans Affairs at that time called her a liar. Didn't use those words. He says, well, we don't have any evidence to support that. That's what he said. Well, we did an investigation. No, you didn't. No, you didn't do an investigation. Because you know how I know that? Because I opened an investigation with the RCMP in Okotoks, Alberta. That went absolutely nowhere, and they didn't follow up with me. Why? Because it was flushed down the toilet. It was swept under the carpet. So nobody's actually looking at this. And the only way this is going to get looked at is with a new government. because this makes the Liberals look bad. And there's no way in hell this is going to see the light of day other than with conversations like this, David. There's no way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good point. A new government for sure.
Do you know of anybody else that this has happened to, David?
I can't off the top of my head. I don't actually. I do not.
That's all right.
I have heard of it through the grapevine, but no one personally that I've known. But yeah, I've heard of it.
So, once this agent offered you MAID with the sales pitch and warmed you up to the idea, we can't help you. You've tried everything. Why don't you let us kill you? Was there a phone call after that? Did they apologize? Like, what happened after that?
No, nothing. I ended up another really good person who advocated for me, who's seen the pit I had fallen in. Carrie Trudeau, she advocated for me, and she's seen my story and everything that's going on. We hadn't quite focused. I never really said anything about the offer of MAID. I kind of just swept that under the carpet and said whatever. But I'm glad I've been talking to you and mentioning of it, because there will be a recording of that on that day, and it won't be hard to find.
Well, you have. They say that those calls aren't recorded, which you and I know are a lie, because every time you talk to VAC, it says this call will be recorded. Yeah. So you have to put in the request, because they'll pretend that it doesn't exist, but of course it does. And you can call back VAC, and I'll tell you the tricks. You can call them. You can call them right after our conversation here and say, hey, before we say anything further, I want you to record this call. They already will be, but you actually say, I want you to record this call. Then you ask them the questions. This other call, I want a copy of it. How do I get that? And if that doesn't work, you can do a FOIA request, like FOIP. And if you don't know how to do that, I have somebody that would probably help you. Okay?
Right on.
And that's what we need, David. We need that phone call to blow this all out of the water. Okay? Because one, they said these phone calls don't exist. They say that they didn't do the recordings. They say that it was just one veteran one time, and then they realize, okay, it's 8 veterans, but it was only one veteran service agent, even though we know that that's impossible, because the first veteran service agent was female and was in BC. It was system-wide. It was a policy. And I'm sure that's all been through the shredder long ago and up in flames, and we'll never be able to find that it was a policy, but it was. So what we need now for any veteran service agents, past or present, we need a veteran service agent that knew it was policy to come forward to me, or anybody really. I don't care who you come forward to, but I'm the one that's put all this together. So come to me. I'm easy to find. I'm all over the internet, and let's have a chat, either with your face, without, with your identity, or without. But talk to me, and we have to blow this out of the water, because it's true, it's happening, and this is how far this wackadoo government will go.
Oh yeah,
they're absolutely wackadoo. Like, you weren't calling back saying, hey, feeling a little blue, I kind of don't want to be on the planet anymore. Could you help me with that? That's not what you did.
And to top it off, I remember I started looking into the MAID as well, and I think it's funny, as soon as they legalized it, I believe Canada is probably ranked number 1 for organ harvesting, and aren't we? Isn't that something?
Yeah, number 1 in organ harvesting. We do. We kill more of our own citizens. I think it was more than 30,000 people last year. It's the number 3 cause of death in Canada, if I'm not wrong. It's absolutely unbelievable.
It's not the Canada
David,
that I know.
Is there any closing? You'll stay on the line after we close this out. I think we're there. I'm going to publish the show, get it into all the right hands, and then, but you and I still have a conversation to have after the show. Is there anything else that you want people to know about what happened to you or about your service?
Uh, what I would like to what I would like to share is anyone, if you are having any problems, just hang in there. Don't do anything drastic. You are worth it. You are worthy, and if you're having troubles, you reach out to someone that loves you.
And if the only access to help you have is this show, then tune into the show. The mission of the show is to save lives and relieve pain by making help for PTS injuries easily accessible. So just by listening to episodes of the show, other than this episode, that's going to be upsetting. But you listen to the first 10 episodes just to get started. You learn about the injury. You learn about support services. You learn what it looks like and how it impacts your life and the lives of those around you. You learn these things. And then you don't feel alone because you realize, oh my God, I'm not the only one. For some people, listening to my show is the only resource that they have, but it keeps them going. It keeps them moving forward. And it's a bright light. It's a beacon of hope. So please, everybody, this is the most important episode I think I've ever done in 300 and almost 40 episodes. This is it. If you want to support the veteran community, if you want to help, share the heck out of this one. Share like the sugar bear. Send it to everybody that you know. Send it to your members of parliament. Send it to your local news outlets. If you care about veterans, if you are upset that the government is trying to kill us off to save money, share this episode and make it loud. This is not a conspiracy theory. And thank God, David, for you coming forward and using your name and your face, the first one to, other than Christine Gauthier, to do this. So now it's collaborated. There's no arguing this. This was system-wide. This was government policy. There's no way around it. This is the wackadoo government that we've had for the last 9 years. This is what we're dealing with, Canada. This is what we're dealing with. Share the hell out of this. This has to stop and has to be rectified. And by the way, for you, David, and for everybody else that's been affected by this, remember, there was a settlement for veteran number one, a life-changing amount of money exchanged hands, which means there's a settlement for you too. And I'll hook you up with the right lawyers, okay? Because that's the only way it's all going to come out is with lawsuits, unfortunately. There's no investigation in the world that's actually going to break everything loose. It has to be lawyers and lawsuits and something called discovery that happens in court for everything to surface to the top. It's the only way, but do not sign an NDA. Do not sign a non-disclosure agreement, whatever you do, or this will stay buried. David, thank you for joining me today. Stay on the line. And as always, everybody, more than ever before, share, share, share. Like, comment, subscribe so that this gets out. Thank you.